Here's an article from Digital Spy talking about how the Force Dyad, that is the connection between Rey and Kylo, creates a sequel trilogy plot hole. And this is rather confusing because we're talking about characters having character reveals in the end of a trilogy or chapter 3. So you're kind of like, what does this mean? And the problem is we don't know what dyad means enough to explain how it's a problem or how it's a plot hole specifically, because you generally do not reveal this stuff. Let's say in a murder mystery, let's say you have the murderer has a twin sister or there's an accomplice. You don't do that at the end of a story. You reveal all the characters first off, and then you showcase what they can do, what their characters are, as they go through the gauntlet that is the story. So plot hole, I still don't even know exactly if we can call it that. It is possible. Let's go through this article by Iam Sandwell. Most divisive moments, well, one of them anyway, revolved around the surprise return of Palpatine. I wouldn't say that because we knew Palpatine was coming back from the trailer itself. So the climactic chapter of the Skywalker saga retconned the sequel trilogy to show that the Sith Lord had been in charge all along. That's another interesting way of describing the return of Palpatine. Was it a retcon? In some definitions, yes. Simply put, I would say yes as well, because it's such a mess that if you were to take an individual part and isolate it, say, well, this technically is a retcon, maybe in the scope of things, it's not. Without it being properly explained, it's up in the air. We don't know. So he's been in charge all along, creating a Snoke clone to control the galaxy as he chilled out on Exegol and built his First Order, pretty much. But as well as creating a lot of fan confusion, Palpatine's revelation that Rey and Ben Solo are a Force Dyad also created a sequel trilogy plot hole. Okay, here we go. So during the final confrontation, Palpatine is initially all about getting his granddaughter Rey to kill him in order to become Empress Palpatine, which makes very little sense. We don't know why that happened. If is it close physical proximity? Does she have to manually stab him in the chest with her lightsaber? With a particular lightsaber? Could he just die of old age? Could he force choke himself and then take over Rey's body? All of this makes no sense. So it's very hard to determine what is what, or what kind of error it is. It's simply bad writing. But then when the newly redeemed Ben Solo comes to help Rey in her fight against Palpatine, he decides to just kill both of them for some reason, which is when he comes to a surprising realization. The life force of your bond, a dyad in the Force, a power like life itself, unseen for generations, and now the power of two restores the one true Emperor. Okay. So again, that one plot is dropped, kill me and then I'll take over your body or whatever, in favor of now I can absorb you because you're a dyad and now I can live again or restore my body, whatever. Very confusing, isn't it? Palpatine is clearly stunned and you can see his face. He's like, I got my hands back. Whatever. And fine, it hasn't been seen for generations, so perhaps plausible that Palpatine wasn't expecting to see it from his granddaughter and the son of Han or Leia. Yeah, even Palpatine's confused. The problem comes when you think back to The Last Jedi. Oh, God. And the throne room scene when Snoke reveals that what he's been up to. Rey thinks she can turn Kylo Ren to the light side, given the Force Spawn conversations they've been having. However, these moments were all... Actually, she said so because she had a vision. She saw it in the Force, that Ben will be turned, not because of the Force Bond. However, these moments were all the creation of Snoke as he brought the two of them together. Have you seen something, a weakness in my apprentice? Is that why you came? He mocks. Young fool, it was I who bridged your minds. I stoked Ren's conflicted soul. I knew he was strong enough to hide it from you, and you were not wise enough to resist the bait. But, as we know, Snoke is just a mouthpiece for Palpatine, so Palpatine is actually one who brought Rey and Kylo Ren together. So he was monitoring this the entire time. So surely, with his dark side powers, Palpatine could have sensed the strength of their bond from the very beginning. But Snoke is the one who bridged their minds. And Palpatine was in charge of Snoke. So does it make sense that he saw a second bond? How is he able to bridge their minds in the first place? Because if you didn't see a bond in the first place, then you make a bond, then you just assume, oh, I'm amazing. This bond is so strong, without knowing there's this other thing called the dyad in the Force. So, who knows? It's just bad writing on top of bad writing. Or Episode 9 trying to solve the problems of Episode 8, and now everything's up in the air. We're not sure who's caused what. What does Palpatine know? Is this all his plan? What is his plan anymore? It's all a mess. After all, Snoke, aka Palpatine, even made moves to strengthen their connection during The Last Jedi. Yeah, or just make it in the first place. We don't know. At best, this proves to be extremely bad planning from Palpatine or the writers, as their bond is what ultimately leads to their downfall. So they have been better served keeping them apart during the entire sequel trilogy. Yeah, wouldn't that have been great? Just not have this story. That would have been fine. I think a lot of people would have been happy. And if draining them of their Force Dyad juice was always Palpatine's ultimate plan, it wasn't. To restore him to his former glory, then why did he act so surprised when he was jolted in the Rise of Skywalker? Exactly. So this wasn't his plan. He had no idea they were a dyad, and this is one of those things he was like, oh, look at this. It must be a dyad. I was like, what does that mean, Palpatine? You could argue that the Force spawn in The Last Jedi is different to the Force Dyad. I would say yes, because Rian Johnson had no idea what the hell JJ was going to do, and JJ is a hack. So yeah, there's no connection. And Palpatine needs to physically be in the room and about to attack Ben and Rey to get the full picture. Okay, that makes some sense. Don't know why he needs to physically be in the room, but okay, sense things that are closer to you. That's cool. It's a very specific set of circumstances. Yes, contrivances, which are called bad writing. But the Force Dyad is a once in several generations type of thing. And if that's the case, then we apologize to the fallen Sith Lord and accept that he isn't just a terrible planner, blinded by his own ambition. Yeah, it's just bad writing. That's all it is. You can't make sense. Like, it's so bad. I can't make sense whether this is a plot hole or a retcon or an umbrella. I just don't know what technique is being used here. There's a lack of exposition. Palpatine doesn't know what's going on. Rey has no clue. Ben is no longer evil for some. It's just this big whole mess of plots and retcons and not retcons and possible umbrellas. It's just a mess. So, Ian, your guess is as good as mine, buddy. Just don't think about it too hard, because we both know it's bad writing. Thanks for listening. Have yourself a great day.